Yo, what up, Street Gods? Eric Kim. All right, man, Okay, after being on the East Coast, winter in Southern California is the best. Also, pro tip: wear a vest, super clutch. Okay, so the question on my mind is in regarding to desires. So, you know, design is one of those funny things that tend to get moralized, which means you know, it's it's a Christian, like Buddhist notion. It's like, you gotta be grateful for what you got, right? Um, and to have desires is bad, right? And then typically when you think about desires, you tend to think about sexual desires and consumerist desires, stuff like that. So, oh, I want the Lambo, I want the sexy girl, whatever. But then once you got it, then what, right? So desire is interesting. It's I think it's you know it depends, right? So like, for example, I'm currently dissatisfied with my chest size. I'm like, I need to, because even when I was back in Providence, Rhode Island, my chest was way more swole, and now it's like my back and my thighs are out of control. So kind of need to work on my chest to just kind of even out the proportions. And also, so currently at the gym I go to, the dumbbells actually go up to 150 pounds in each hand, which is pretty heavy. And just as a personal curiosity, I never see nobody ever touch the 150-pound dumbbells. And typically what I've just been doing is just seeing if I could pick them up, right? Like even like an inch, right? And yeah, actually, I've when I first tried, I actually could do it with my right hand. I couldn't do it with my left hand. But now that I could actually unrack the thing with my left hand, my grip strength has gone a lot stronger. Also, one of my philosophies and my thoughts is I think actually grip strength is strength. So using, straps, hand straps, wrist straps, whatever you call it, in the gym at least, might not be good, because assuming that your ultimate goal is maximizing your strength, by using hand straps or wrist straps, it doesn't give your hands a chance to callus up and to become stronger. So anything that you could do for your calluses and your grip strength is good. So I just recommend just using chalk. Just use a lot of chalk, and just see. And also, if you're doing deadlift or rack pull or whatever, sumo, etc., just use the mixed grip where one hand is over and the other hand is like this way, so the bar don't slip out of your hands. Oh yeah, so now it's actually nice because since I'm dissatisfied with my chest size, right? Then I'm like, oh, now I actually have a reason to go to the gym and hit the either floor bench press or the heavy dumbbell press. And I'm just like curious. I'm like, the good thing is, I know at least with floor bench press, right? Like if give me a year or 2 years or 3 years, I practice it super regularly. I know that within a few years I should be able to do like 4-plate floor bench press. Maybe one day 5 plates, right? But it's just a matter of time and frequency, I suppose. And then, so I know that's pretty certain. But the dumbbell press is actually, this is where I find dumbbell press much more interesting and engaging than doing bench press. Is that like when you got to unrack the plates or the dumbbells, put on top of your thighs, and then get into position and push it. It's like a hyper compound movement, and I think that's why actually a lot of bodybuilders now, they don't actually even touch bench press anymore. They all just do heavy dumbbell presses for reps. And so yeah, I think once I could hit the limit, which is 150 pounds in each hand, and I do a successful dumb press, I think I'd be pretty happy and satisfied. And then from that point, then once I'm capped out, once I'm maxed out, 150 in each hand, either A, I got to find a new gym that has like 200-pound dumbbells in each hand, or I could just switch over to bench press or floor bench press, whatever, to max that. Even when I was at the old Brown Providence gym, I did all the dumbbells and then maxed out a 100-pound dumbbell press, 1 rep max each hand. Then that just became uninteresting to me, and I just switched over to doing a flat bench press. Shout out to my friend Jamal. So maybe then a strategy in life is with certain things, right? Strive to max out a certain thing, right? Like even for example with a deadlift or squat or rack pulls, right? So the barbell, right, has a certain sleeve on each side, and there's a certain point where you cannot put any more 45-pound plates on each side. And so there's some guys at this local gym where I saw them deadlift over 700 pounds. Was that 7 plates on each side? And I don't see them at the gym no more because they probably went to a different gym with longer sleeves, which could max them out even more. So then I suppose then the goal is to strive to max yourself out given a certain thing, and then move on to the next one. Even the interesting thing is in photography, in some ways I've kind of maxed it out insofar much as I've got all the accolades, all the awards, become a judge on these street photography competitions, met all the famous photographers, the solo exhibitions, got famous, made money, blah blah. And so then the question is like, now what? And I think in the realm of photography, I mean, I'm the most interesting photographer I know, who's multifaceted and could rack pull over 6 plates, right? And micro squat over 6 plates, right? And yeah, so photography is still uber interesting to me. I still love it. And so then maybe what happens once you're maxed it out in the conventional terms, then the new pursuit is to try to innovate in new ways which are not contingent on external notions of validation or success or money or fame or whatever. Because I think the funny thing in America is the basic thing is 2 things which matter the most in America. It's money and fame. Maybe whereas if you're French or European, kind of more like prestige, but prestige actually in Latin or whatever, it actually means magic trick, right? Throw up the smoke and mirrors, right? So prestige is silly. In fact, I actually prefer money over prestige because money is a hard thing, whereas prestige is this constipated fake notion. Even money is obviously not good because, you could be a plumber making $300,000 a year, but do you want to be dealing with other people's feces for a living? Not me, right? And then the question is, why do this? I mean, A, just do it for yourself, and B, do it because you want to empower other humans and humanity. You want to push the human race forward. And this is where notions of ego get interesting, because at a certain point, you don't got to do certain things no more to please your audience or whatever. It then becomes you do it for the sake of furthering something greater than yourself. And this is where innovation becomes useful because, one should innovate, for one's own personal benefit, but also one should also innovate for the sake of trying to empower other people and trying to share these techniques with others. So for example, I've been thinking a lot about the difference between doing just standard deadlift, whether it be sumo deadlift, even trap bar deadlift or hex bar deadlift, versus just doing a rack pull. And I'm certainly with a standard dumbbell deadlift where you're doing it off the floor versus a rack pull where it's already lifted and you're only lifting it that much versus that much, you got more range of motion. But does it really matter? It's a question I was doing some rack pulls the other day, right? 4 plates, right? You could feel your muscles in the back going engaging, right? So certainly your muscles are getting stronger. And and it's interesting too, because when I'm doing a rack pull, it's kind of hunched over a little bit and your knees are a little bent. And then when you have to do the full maximum push, right? I do engage my glutes, my hips, my lower back, my upper back, my mid back, my shoulders, my traps, everything. So whether one needs a quote unquote full range of motion, maybe I don't think it's actually necessary. I think especially if you're not competing and going to a powerlifting competition, which I think is quite silly because you don't know if all these other dudes are on the juice. Yeah, The only way to legitimately to enter a powerlifting competition is when you yourself are doing steroids and testosterone, whatever, and you know all the other guys are doing it. And then it's fair because everyone's doing the juice, right? Everyone's eating the gummy bears, like my best friend PewDiePie says, right? And this is actually where I find The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, to be so disingenuous, where it's like he's super swole and he sells his clothing with Under Armour, discipline. And then like I even saw this, like, I don't know, was it Muscle Fitness, one of those magazines covers where it's like Dwayne The Rock Johnson at the age of 50 still super swole, his secrets, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, are you finally gonna tell people that you're eating gummy bears on the side? Okay, just maybe one. Oh yeah, for those who lack a nuance, gummy bear is it's a slang for steroids or testosterone or these other weird supplements, right? Yeah, so that's where I find that, like, I mean, I think it's okay people do steroids or take testosterone or do all these weird things to their bodies. I think people should just be open and transparent about it, especially if they're a public figure, especially if they become like a Marvel or a DC hero. That's just an ethical thought. And yeah, so I guess my takeaways with desire is, A, it should be something you personally care about. B, it's interesting, right? Like, you could be like, I'm satisfied with how buff my back is and my legs are, but that doesn't stop the fact that I want to keep doing it more. But it's more of a matter of fun and personal interest. And then but then there's certain things I'm dissatisfied with, my chest size and stuff like that. Then that also gives me a motivation to do things. So maybe then the ultimate takeaway is channel satisfaction, dissatisfaction to keep becoming more epic to your benefit.